morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. Good morning, Aurora. The time is 9:01 a.m. and you are listening to and watching Good Morning, Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. It's Friday, and I hope that everyone's had a great week, and I hope that you guys are ready for a fantastic weekend. Don't forget that it's going to be a long weekend because Monday is Labor Day. But what we have today to talk about is the Leadership Academy. I have two great guests this morning. I have the new Interim CEO and President of the Aurora Regional Chamber of Commerce, Jenny Maltas, and my dear friend Sandra Harrison. How you ladies doing today?
Doing well.
Great.
How are you, Curtis?
All
Always
right.
a pleasure.
I'm doing pretty good today. Doing pretty good. I'm really ready for this. So as you guys both know, I've been a supporter of what you are doing at the Aurora Regional Economic Alliance. Now, we're here to talk today about the Leadership Academy. We've got all the details for you guys to learn about this fantastic, event and series of workshops. But the Alliance does a whole lot in the community. So before we go further, follow the Alliance on social media and get in tune to what they're doing. Now, this is the 47th year.
Yeah, so we're not sure if it's exactly the 47th year, but it's definitely the 47th class. Because there was that's one thing we're trying to track down, because there were a couple years where there was maybe one skipped, COVID years.
Absolutely,
or
that's right.
There were a couple years that there was more than one class. So but we do know it's the 47th class, and there's been over 900 participants in it so far.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Now, this is going to be, this year I think it's going to be a little bit different because, Sandra, you will be doing the facilitating of the training. Let's talk about that, and let's talk about DVA and what you'll be doing to support the team.
Well, DVA is a learning and development company, right? We specialize in team development, and so we're really excited facilitating this. We also facilitate a lot of other organizational mission kind of focused work, but we're really excited about this because it not only helps folks to kind of explore leadership, their own personal leadership, how they view their leadership, and how others are kind of wobbling through different leadership styles.
Right.
So we'll examine that, and the field trip based process is going to be amazing. We have, starting week 2, over 10 small businesses or medium-sized businesses that we will be visiting and doing tours with, just to kind of get a handle on what other folks' leadership styles are and how those are playing into the process today.
Okay, so when you say field trip based, that is the classes or participants going to the actual locations of these places?
Absolutely, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Takes me back. Remember Show and Tell, y'all?
Right.
It's an adult field trip program, and that's the appeal.
Yeah.
Well, I think so. The hands-on approach, though, too.
Yeah.
The being inside of the location and seeing what it's like, hearing the whir of the machinery and all that kind of stuff will definitely last with participants.
Yeah, the really neat part about the program is it starts off with Sandra and as a great facilitator to do a presentation about leadership and what that looks like.
Right.
And then throughout the program, you get to visit these different sites. You get to tour and not only see what goes on there, the field trip portion, but that the leaders of those organizations come and they speak about leadership and how they got to where they are and what their leadership styles are. So you can see, you get the theory piece of it and the information and guidance from Sandra, and then you get the, the people who are leading these organizations to, talk about what they're dealing with, right now.
Okay. Now, when does this begin?
Do you want to?
We are starting next week. It's orientation.
Yes.
Okay.
Orientation is next Friday, and the Friday after that is our first class.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, are there any spots available? Should folks is there still time
We
to
have
register?
just a few, and there are just a few spots left. Yes.
All right.
If you know anybody, please do let us know.
You can register by September 2nd.
Yeah.
So we still have a little bit of time. Not much, since September 2nd is Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's a little time if you still want to participate.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will share the link in the description of this video too, as well, so that you guys can see what's going on and register it. And if there's any available spots, definitely encourage you guys to take part in it. Now, it's a case study model course, 12 consecutive Fridays, 8:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. from September 5th through November 21st. Participants network while visiting 10 plus locations in the Aurora region to learn about the community's major organizations and hear their leaders speak about leadership styles and best practices.
Yeah.
What are some of the from what both you ladies know and have seen and have experienced with the Aurora business class and community. What have you seen as some of the best practices that some businesses or organizations are doing already?
In terms of specific to leadership in
Yes,
general?
yeah.
You know, I think the style of leadership too is a little bit is dependent on the size of your organization and what it does as well. So the program is going to be visiting, the smaller organizations all the way up to, the Wabansie Community College, that has hundreds of, thousands of employees and staff and locations to, a local that only has maybe, 4 or 5.
Right.
So your style in terms of leadership is the more successful people adjust their style to what is needed with that the organization has. So whether, you need to adjust your style because of the size or you need to adjust your style because of, whatever it is that your organization is dealing with, it's important to, do that. And it's important to show, you evolve over time. And
Right.
so I think that's what, you get to hear from the CEOs that will be speaking is, their journey of leadership because, I know that when I first started, in my journey, I don't have the same approach today that I did then because, it is evolving. And that's what Sandra will be focusing on is, tying all of this together, what they hear and, and how they can have a discussion of the group of, what that means.
I think all too often folks kind of just dig their heels in. I'm a transformational learner. I'm a and the reality is that we kind of ebb and flow through all those leadership styles. Again, like Jenny said, it depends on the audience. It depends on what's going on. It depends on the circumstances. And once you factor all those things in, the moment might be called for a kind of a laid-back leadership style, whereas something else might be more focused and concentrated and really need you to focus in, right? A transactional leadership style. I'm going to give you something, a paycheck at the end of the week, and I need you to do A, B, and C. That's it and that's all. However, like when you think about the learning and development work that we do, when you think about team-based work, I want to come in and allow folks the opportunity to be creative and think outside of the box. I don't want to stand there and be the leader. I want to engage folks in the process. And so every leadership style can kind of fit wherever you're kind of dealing with.
Okay, now is this your first time facilitating one of these leadership academies?
Not a leadership academy, but this leadership academy.
Okay.
Absolutely. DVA's been in the game for 20 years. We've done a lot of leadership academies across the state, actually. So we're really excited to bring this one to Aurora.
All right. The time is 9:08 a.m. If you are just joining us, it's Friday and you are watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast. And we are here with two of our great friends from the Aurora Regional Economic Alliance, Jenny and Sandra, talking about the upcoming Leadership Academy, which is in its 47th year or class. 47 is the number that we... Class for sure. And half the spots are already filled, but we do have the registration link for you guys. Now, I want to read about some of the great, where did it go? I just saw it. There's some great organizations here in businesses. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So some of these confirmed organizations for the Leadership Academy visits, and as we just talked about, these are going to be in a field trip fashion. So the teams or the groups of folks will go to these places. Gripple. The Dunham Foundation. I'm going to be at the Dunham Foundation too, taking a class on donor engagement.
That's
There
right.
you go.
That's how we roll.
Oh my God, they have great classes over at
They
Dunham
do. Yeah, they do.
Foundation. Absolutely.
The Aurora Women's Empowerment Foundation, the Aurora Public Library, Rush, V&A Healthcare, Wabansie, Fox Valley Park District, Community Foundation of the Fox River Valley. That's just a few of the amazing locations that we'll be going to. Now, in regards to the locations being seen or being the places that the teams will go to, how are they chosen? Are they folks and organizations who've already been past locations?
Well, that's a really good question. I think the team basically selects them based on criteria, right? We look for folks who might be in the foundation space, right? Which is how we come to Dunham, AWE, and Community Foundation. We might be looking for healthcare, which is how we pull in VNA. Under entertainment, we're pulling in the Fire Museum. So we have categories,
Okay.
and we plug into those categories.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. One of my colleagues from Neighbor Project, David Blancas, took part in the last Leadership Academy.
Really?
Yeah, he really raved about the experience. It was
Awesome.
great. It was really good stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, and part of it with the organizations listed, these are critical organizations in our community that you're going to interact with and learn about. And so one of the great parts of the program is that you do get those interactions and the contacts and the networking, and you understand, what it takes, what you see in front of you, what it takes to get from A to B. And I think, we've laughed a little bit in the past. We had Dr. Bill, who has facilitated this in the past, and there's a stop to see, the sanitary sewer. And, there was a discussion about whether or not to keep that stop because, it's dirty, obviously.
Hey, life
it's
ain't-
not glamorous. Yeah.
But it's how our city runs.
Yeah, but it's critical to
It's
everything
critical.
that goes
Absolutely.
on. And so understanding kind of the whole of the community and what is behind it, and then also getting the contacts is really, I think that's why people rave about it. It's you learn so much in it, and it's connected to leadership, but also you get a good contact
The
base because you're with the
experience of-
class, and
Right.
you get to meet and you know a little bit more about who to call if you run into a problem, right?
Right. Now, how does the Leadership Academy fit into the overall goal of our Aurora Regional Economic Alliance?
So that is a great question and a loaded question.
I wasn't loaded.
No, not in a bad way.
Okay, I'm about to
Not
say,
in a
yeah.
bad way.
We don't do that.
Not
It's
not in a bad way.
it's not a bad way in that it's loaded. It's a long answer.
There was a lot there.
Yes, it's not as straightforward because of the timeline of
Sure,
where
sure.
we are as an
Of course.
organization. So, speaking of the Dunham Foundation, they paid for a strategic plan for the Aurora Regional Economic Alliance, and that plan is just finishing up right now.
Okay.
And so that plan is going to have 8 different areas that are included in it in terms of how the alliance should move forward and build and support the community,
Yes.
which includes events like networking and education, like we're talking about right now. But it also includes the economic development pieces. It also includes workforce development pieces, and there's a whole strategy out there.
Right.
And so as a part of that process, the alliance is working with TIP, the national consultant and expert on this, and what they facilitated a lot of focus groups, and they did a business survey that we had over 140 businesses respond to. And through that process, one of the things that they heard was that the Leadership Academy specifically was kind of the shining star of the previous programs that the organizations that will make up the alliance had previously hosted. And part of that was the great feedback from participants, and so that it checks a lot of boxes in terms of we're bringing the business community members together.
Right.
We're helping to develop that next level of leadership. A lot of the people who participate in it end up leading some of these organizations or leading locally in another organization. So it kind of brings all of that together, and just the overall leadership development piece, and just also all the participants get a highlight of the community.
Oh, absolutely.
And so
Right.
it kind of checks a lot of boxes.
Checks a lot of boxes.
For us, and so this is the first program that we're running, and so we're gonna figure out a little bit about what goes on this year, and it may be the first kind of our first entry into more programming in the future.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. See, so part of the reason why I asked that question is because I get, a lot of people ask me, like, they see the alliance and things going on, and they'd ask me, like, hey, what's that group about? And I tell them.
Yeah.
But then also, the Community Foundation, so the list of some of these organizations, just to, put my personal cards on, Bloomhaven, Community Foundation, Dunham, AWE, AU, VNA Healthcare alone have been and continue to be, and Bloomhaven, some of our biggest supporters.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, from the time that,
Right.
from back when we were recording and what is now One East Benton, back when it was under construction.
Wow.
I mean, so these are the organizations and the individuals in those organizations. And I see that, I know the mission of the Community Foundation, what they do for the community, to see you guys working with them, obviously, that's a strong partnership, which benefits a lot of people here in the city. So, yeah, it was a loaded question, but it was loaded the right way. It was loaded the right way.
It's just,
It was, yeah.
It's more so
Yeah.
that we're in a development phase right now in
Exactly.
terms of figuring out who the alliance is
Sure.
and what the alliance
Yeah.
is going to focus on. And, we're getting much closer to that because
Right.
we have the draft final of the strategic plan. And, this was a critical part of it. They're
Right.
like, this needs to go no matter what type of thing. And so we're getting to that point this fall where we're going to be launching our dues and benefits on October 1st and launching kind of the schedule for the end of the year and next year. And so you'll be seeing a lot more from the alliance. We're getting very, very close to that critical point. So that part
Absolutely.
is extremely exciting for us.
All right. Lead now and learn how. That's the slogan for this year's Leadership Academy.
Yes.
And once again, orientation begins September 5th. 10 sessions, September 12th through November 14th, and then the graduation is going to be November 21st. Now, is the graduation going to take place at the offices like last year? Because you guys are located at 43 West Galena.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
We're actually still working out the details of the graduation.
Okay.
So we know what the date's going to be, but we're still talking through the details.
Okay.
Part of the exciting, part of the alliance and the strategic plan is we're looking at everything fresh and differently. So we're looking at some different things, and one of the things that we want to look at is how do we engage the alumni of this program
Right.
who have gone in the past, and
Right.
part of that has to do with the graduation. And we've talked about some different things that maybe instead of having it as a separate event, we want to integrate it into something else that we have, or maybe we have the graduation, right before an event where the people can go to the graduation and then go to our event, and just
Cool.
or have it become part of our event profile,
Right.
So we're talking through that. So more details to come,
To come.
on that, but yeah.
All right. Now, Sandra, when it comes to this Leadership Academy, as you mentioned, you've facilitated trainings and workshops for leadership academies in the past. What will you be doing differently for this one? Are you ready for it?
Well, I am ready for it. And the first thing I'm going to do is during orientation, we'll talk about multiple types of leadership, right? There's a sneaky little part in there where we are actually going to have folks assess their own leadership style before they move forward in the program. And so I think that's really cool. People get to take a look at who they are, who they think they are, and how they're operating as a leader. And then they take that into the businesses and see other leaders and kind of get tips or initiatives on how to change or move their own leadership style forward.
9:18 is the time. If you are just joining us, you're watching Good Morning Aurora, the second largest city's first daily news podcast, and we're here with our friends of the Aurora Regional Economic Alliance and DVA to talk about the upcoming Leadership Academy. Jenny, what makes a good leader?
I think an open mind, and I think if you do a little bit, you got to do a lot of listening. I'm even experiencing that a little bit myself right now because we're going through this strategic planning process, and so there are a certain number of things that need to happen now and can wait, and there's a lot of what we're doing that we need to figure out kind of the happy medium, like, okay, how do we get this done, but not, but no, we need to make a change in the future, and how, it's a balancing act. So I think one of the most important things in terms with a leader is how you communicate and making sure that you communicate in the right way, because a lot of times, people can get frustrated or about certain things or decisions because they don't know the context or they don't know the why behind it.
Right.
And a lot of times even if you don't agree with a leader's, decision, if you understand the why, you understand how it got to, you may not agree with something, but at least you understand how it got there. I think a lot of times there's confusion because you just see a decision in a vacuum and then you don't know why, or
Right.
you weren't asked what was going on,
And
or your
that's what
opinion
you start
was just
responding to.
yeah, and then you respond to that versus so I think especially with everything that's going on right now in the business community, a lot of uncertainty, across all the industries right now, there's a lot of it is communication, and sometimes the the leaders don't know, what's going on in, there's uncertainty surrounding, tariffs, or, I don't know how we're going to be able to, I don't know if we can make this decision yet, or
Right.
we need to put this on hold for
Right.
a certain period of time. And the ability to even to say, I don't know, I don't have the answer, and this is why, is better than, letting someone else tell the story or fill in the gaps, and then you're at least on the same page, even if you're, going through a harder time. So
Yeah, I
Totally
learned that in
agree.
my personal leadership journey. Like I was previously in the school of thought that everything had to have an answer. And once I went into like corporate America, that's when a great mentor I had told me, like, listen, I don't know is a perfect answer.
It's a perfect answer.
And that stuck with me.
Mhm.
And it made a huge difference. It made a huge difference in life because, first of all, the ability to apologize when you're wrong is kind of coupled with the ability to say that I don't know. And as a result of that, like, I've never been able to trust a person who had the answer for everything.
All the answers.
No matter what, you can put out fires and make ice. Like, that's just crazy. You need to, I think a humble balance of or a humble knowledge of your strengths and weaknesses will help anybody.
yeah.
Right.
Help any-
right,
9/21 is the time. So, as we look towards the end of the year, what other events does the Alliance have that folks should know about and get ready for and perhaps take part in?
So I mentioned our executive committee actually just approved our dues and benefits this past week at their meeting. So we'll have that launching on October 1st. So there's going to be a lot of work to do in the next month to get that ready. So that will be coming out. And then, this fall, we're continuing to work on what was formerly the Aurora Downtown event. So you'll see a lot of information about First Fridays and the Cocoa Crawl and all of that coming out soon. But as we look to the end of the year with the new schedule, we're looking at hosting a Lead Her and Women of Influence event, which is a female-focused event in the last quarter of the year, probably October. And we're also looking at an economic forum probably in the November timeframe to address, what is going on in the changing economy and, how do we respond, what to expect in the new year,
Right.
and to get geared up for the next year and how everything, because it is so in flux and changing all
Oh,
the
yeah,
time,
yeah.
Things
how
have
that might affect, how you move forward.
Yeah. And how can we help you? How can ourselves and the listeners help the Aurora Economic Alliance?
Well, I think if you're in the business community looking for our dues and membership and coming out October 1st, and you can, at that point, you can formally join the organization. Right now, we've kind of we've been considering everyone members or anyone in the business community, and because we've had, while we're building the dues and benefits on hold. So, that piece of it is going to be really great, and that's how you're going to hear from us about what we're up to in the new programs and the information that we're going to be putting out. This event we're talking about, it allows you, even this event, we have member and non-member pricing for that reason, and we're going to be launching that. So as a member, you get access not only to the programs that we have, but all the contacts that we have, and all of the other members and the information that we share and all of that. So. So yeah, coming out, and right now, things are really difficult in the business community, especially in the downtown business community, in terms of traffic and and customers. And so anything that the Aurora community can do to make sure that you're visiting our businesses, whether downtown and otherwise, and trying to make sure that you're shopping local and bringing that back into the community, because the dollars spent here, go back and benefit everyone who lives here. And so I know that the businesses would really appreciate support, especially right now when things are, the economy is difficult.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, 9:24 is the time. With the last bit of time we have, Sandra, let's talk about DVA, how folks can learn about DVA, how they get more information.
Oh, wonderful. Our website is www.dvatraining.org, and you can learn more on our website about just the things that we do. We not only provide performance-based team building, but we also have wellness built into all of our trainings. We partner with Yolanda Dunn and It's Fit Time. We also have mental health wellness. We kind of fit into our training. So the coolest thing about stepping into facilitating this list of businesses is that many of them are our customers as well.
Okay.
So we've been with many of them before. We've helped their teams kind of grow and learn and move forward. And so that part of it is exciting, right? We have a portfolio now of services that we offer that are a little bit more than just training and development. We also offer human resources to a couple of nonprofit organizations and do some personal coaching. So we're really excited to step into this role facilitating with the Alliance.
Well, that's great. I wish you the very best.
I appreciate
Known you
that,
for a long
Curtis.
time. We've been, we go back too.
We go way on back.
I really,
Way on back.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
You have facilitated a few things I've been involved in.
Thank you.
So I always enjoy seeing you in the room, providing that leadership to
I appreciate
different
that.
folks who need it.
Thank you.
Okay, 9:26 is the time. I want to say thank you both to you ladies for coming on to the show this morning. It's really great to connect with you, hear about what you've got going on, and see some more good work happening in a crucial part of the
Crucial
Aurora.
space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Very crucial part of the Aurora society.
Crucial space.
I think too the Aurora business community has, I've always judged it as very healthy. We've had some bumps in the road, COVID being a very big one. But I do like to see these kind of large scale things happen that engage everybody, the small,
Right.
the medium, to the
Correct.
to the big businesses. Because a lot of these guys, going back to the just Aurora Regional Fire Museum, they do local free programming for kids
many
and
folks
families.
don't know.
Yep.
A lot
They
of
just
people
don't
have
know.
no idea about
They
that.
have no idea.
And they're going to be one of many locations for our regional alliance to work with, take folks to see
Absolutely.
leadership. So
Absolutely.
just
Yeah.
just one another great example of what's going on
Yeah,
here locally.
money's a big deal, and one of the first events out of the gate is with Dunham Foundation and
Oh, yeah.
AWE, and just learning how you, even as a small business, can access some of that capital is major. Yeah,
Absolutely,
it's major.
absolutely. Well, for more information on that and many other great things, you continue watching Good Morning Aurora, the second
Absolutely.
largest city's first daily news podcast. And I hope that all of you guys have a great day today, a fantastic weekend. Enjoy yourselves this weekend. And also, don't forget, Monday is Labor Day. There will be no Good Morning Aurora or Buenos Dias Aurora on Monday, Labor Day, but you might see us out and about, maybe around Claim Street. You never know. Anyway, I hope that you guys have a good weekend. Thank you, ladies, for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No doubt.
Happy Small Business Month.
Absolutely. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, have a great day. Take care of yourself and each other.